Hey, my name's Paul and welcome to 513 Journey. This is going to be a vlog series that's going to look at my path towards hopefully climbing my first 513. A little bit about me. My name's Paul. I'm a physiotherapist in the sunny Gold Coast in Queensland. I've been climbing for about 7 or 8 years on and off. And in 2017 I set myself a goal to climb my first 512. And with about 3 months of training and the support of my wonderful wife, I managed to climb a climb called Crazy Horny, which is a wonderful 25 in Australian grades, or about 512 in American grades. And that was fantastic. But since then my training's waned and I've been involved in my small business and a lot of other sort of projects with my spare time. So now's the time to get serious again. So in this vlog we're going to be talking about all things training, all things climbing, all things projecting, getting outside, sending hard, resting hard. I hear that's pretty important these days. And obviously 513 being a little bit more of a challenge than the 512, I've given myself a longer time period. So to the end of next season, which in Australia the season pretty much lasts all year. So until about December next year, 2020, to send this goal. We're going to get into the gym now. We're going to get some baselines, see just how good my finger strength is, have a look at some endurance, and I'm going to film some problems, some moonboard problems, to keep them standardized so that maybe in a couple of months we can refilm and just see if there's been any improvements. I went out and did some climbing on the weekend at a place called Flinders near us, so I'll pop some footage up there this week as well, and you can have a look at just how inefficient my climbing actually was. It was my first time there. It's definitely my anti-style, very steep, bouldery, cruxy problems. I traditionally come from a trad background, so it took a bit of work, but when I looked at the footage I could see just how slowly and inefficiently I was moving on that kind of terrain. So that's going to give me something to work on in this series. So thanks for coming. Hopefully we get there. It's going to be a long, tough, hard road, lots of training, but I'm pretty stoked. So I'll see you in the gym. Alrighty, so I've done a little bit of a warm-up and I'm ready to get some of these max strength values. While you guys are watching that, I'm just going to talk about a few extra elements that I really want to cover when I'm doing my training over the next 12 months. And that's moving past just finger strength and endurance, but looking at other elements that make us a good climber. So, not being a very flexible climber, that's something I'm going to put a bit more focus on. Also looking at body movement, kinesiology, efficiency and accuracy of movement to make sure I'm getting as much out of my strength as possible. Whenever I have sketchy clips or whenever I'm unsure on the beta, I tend to hesitate quite a lot. So we're also going to look at things like fear of falling and fear of failing so that I can try and move past that and not waste too much energy when I'm out there climbing projects. You can see I've got a few values up now. On the 33mm edge, managed 50 kilos, and on the 20, 30 kilos. So it felt pretty good with those. My skin was a little bit raw from Flinders, so maybe I could have snuck out a few more kilograms on them. But these chin-ups, 40 kilograms, basically I was super struggling to get my chin above the bar. 35 felt pretty comfortable but hard, 40 was absolute max. Now we're doing some strength endurance repeaters, 5 seconds on, 3 seconds off on these terrible slopers. Really, I hate slopers. Open hand training is going to have to be a really big part of my program. And then after that, I do some work on the crimp rail. I was going to not do this in a voiceover mode, but I felt a little bit stupid talking to the camera, so that's something I'm probably going to have to get used to doing and just looking a little bit silly. But also, we got the moon board. I didn't manage to get around to filming that because the gym got a little bit busier. I didn't want to get in people's way, setting up tripods and whatnot, and taking up too much space. So instead of that, I decided to just hang out with some mates, do some boulder problems, chill out for a bit. So we'll cover the moon board next video, I'd say. We're back in the studio. It's day 2. We did a little F45 training session this morning, resistance-based hit circuits, doing quite a lot of posterior chain work. It's going to be a good complement to some of the more climbing specific training we're doing. I promise later in the week I'll get through the moonboarding footage and the footage of Flinders climbing on the weekend, so you guys can dissect that and have a look at me on some real rock. And then next week we'll talk more specifics about training protocols and periodization cycles and how I'm going to take the more traditional climbing moving forward. But that's it. Please leave any comments or tips or suggestions down below. If there's anything you guys want me to talk about a little bit more or any editing you guys want me to do better. This is my first time editing something like this, so it might be a little bit sloppy at first, but I'll try and tidy that up. Otherwise, please subscribe if you'd like to follow this journey further. And thanks for coming along. Have a good night.